single good.
Hello and welcome to the opening home game of the 2021 football season this beautiful today. We eagerly await today's matchup between longtime arch rivals, the Cougars of Collegiate and your Titans of Trinity. We give a warm Trinity welcome to all of our visitors from Collegiate and welcome all alumni, new and returning Trinity students, parents, faculty, and friends who come out to watch the game today. Today is a special game for our Titans. Today's game marks the first official football game on the brand new turf field in Aycock Stadium. We are grateful to the many generous donors, many of whom are here today who gave in support of this project. The Titan family are here in place and ready to go. Thank you for continuing to provide opportunities for us. Your generous support is greatly appreciated. This evening's officials are Al Brooks as referee, umpire Parker Norman, head linesman Drew Bright, line judge Timothy Kirkbride, back judge Shane Wickham, field judge Kevin Poindexter, side judge Kevin Kiefer, and the electric clock operator John Skorowski. The Collegiate head coach is Mark Pallier. The Trinity Titans head of school is Rob Short. Athletic Director Anna Perlman, Assistant Athletic Director Adam Lonning, Athletic Trainer Mark Hall, Strength and Conditioning Coach Adam Bandler, Equipment Operations Coordinator Diane Gillis, Trinity Head Coach is Sam Nickens, Defensive Coordinator Jason Taylor, Offensive Coordinator Malcolm Ball. Assistant coaches are Jermaine Brown, Shane Knuckles, Steve Edwards, Nick Logan, Jake Hurd, James Grant, Paul Thompson, Jake Parker, Ryan Warner, Kevin Taylor, and
Sorry, can you say that again? I can't hear you. Okay. Oh, so I can just pan to them if they do. I just did.
We ask all spectators to remember to treat the officials and participating teams with respect. Hear the strengths and safeties of your team and do not denigrate the performance of your opponents. Their fans are the officials. We expect that all fans will act
want me to go to the flag or the singers? Will do.
Say 2-2.
Just I will do.
Okay.
What about him over there? Is it? And they had everything to do with this the camera.
Yeah. Go.
Got it.
How are you, man? Okay.
I'll make sure if I'm here, I'm not in your.
Oh, you're not going to be.
Okay.
I don't think so anyway. I'll tell you if you are. I think the only time you might be will be when we do the national anthem.
Trinity Titans have won the toss and have deferred to the second half.
I do. Can you hear me? I'll do it.
Hey. Yes, yeah. Coach says he's got a portable charge.
Okay.
Hand the flag now or now?
Yeah, we're playing that when he took. Yep.
Okay.
Today, September 11th, 2021, marks the 20th year since the horrible attacks on the World Trade Centers and the Pentagon. 9/11 was the worst attack on American soil, resulting in the tragic loss of many lives. Lower Manhattan, Arlington, Virginia, and Shanksville, Pennsylvania are forever affected by the tragedies of September 11th, 2001. Today, we come together to honor the valor of those firefighters, police officers, medical workers, and citizens who rushed to provide aid and rescue victims. And we honor the grace, dignity, and memory of the nearly 3,000 lives lost that day by collectively pushing forward a vision of a better tomorrow. And now please join me in a moment of silence as we honor the fallen heroes of 9/11. Thank you. In a sign of unity by both schools, Trinity and Collegiate will be joining in singing the Star-Spangled Banner. Please rise. Gentlemen, remove your hats as the Trinity Tritones and the Collegiate Chorus honor the United States of America with the singing of our national anthem.
welcome to TESPN and this afternoon's broadcast from Aycock Stadium. Collegiate Cougars visiting the Trinity Episcopal Titans for what promises to be a great football game this Saturday afternoon. I'm Rick Hamlin along here with Silvio Troy. How you doing, Silvio?
I am great and excited for this game. What about you, Mr. Hamlin?
Very excited for the game. For folks just joining us that aren't able to be here, the pregame ceremony was really lovely. Just had a moment of silence for 9/11, of course, this being the 20th anniversary of those tragic events that occurred. And then a joint singing of the national anthem by the Trinity Tritones a cappella group as well as Collegiate's a cappella group. Really moving moment that we just had before the game.
Yeah, 100% agree. It was a very beautiful announcement there.
Yeah, it was. And now we're about to kick this game off. Titans coming in at 1-1. Great win in game one against Benedictine, 27-13. But then went up to Maryland last week and took a tough loss at Bishop McNamara by that same 27-13 margin. Collegiate comes in at 1-0, and they defeated Goochland last week, 21-0. The opening kickoff from J.D. Stemhagen is received by L.J. Booker, who brings it out across the 20, brought down at about the 23-yard line, and that's where Collegiate will take over. All right, so the Cougars taking over. First play from scrimmage today from their own 23. And back to pass on that first play. Pass is caught, and that catch was made by Hayden Rollison. About a 3-yard gain. Ball was jarred loose, but they deemed that Rollison was already down. And looked like Elijah Rayner was there on the tackle for the Titans. Going to bring up 2nd and 7.
It should be 8. Owen Fallon.
All right, 2nd and 7. Time the Cougars hand off, pick up a pair. Was Donovan Williams with the run. Going to be 3rd down and 5 here. A 3 and out would be huge for this Titan defense on the first possession. Allen out of the shotgun. It's a throw, eludes some pressure. Allen pass along the sideline. The refs are discussing it. They are going to say it was caught by Christian Williams. It's a really close one right there on the sideline, but a nice grab ultimately by Williams. And a first down for first down for Collegiate, rather, just into Trinity territory, right across midfield.
Gonna have to give some big credit to Owen Fallon there, finding that very good opening from Christian Williams on the sideline there. Very good throw and very good kick.
Yeah, he did a nice job. He looked really comfortable throwing on the run there. John Brooks brought some pressure for the Titans, but Fallon did a nice job eluding and getting that first down. They did not get into Trinity territory. It's still ball at the 49 of Collegiate. We do have a flag on the 1st and 10 play. And Titans are offside, so indeed it will finally now go into Trinity territory across midfield with the 5-yard walk-off. That'll take it to 1st and 5 at the Titan 48. And on the 1st and 5, interception.
Oh, and
Cornell Allen with the interception. A late flag comes in, but I think that's going to be something that happened after the change of possession. Big pick for Allen. Check that flag. Yeah, there was a block in the back on the return, so that'll push back where the Titans take over a little bit, but it will be Trinity ball. Owen Fallon kind of sailed that one over the receiver's head, and Cornell Allen was there for the pick, and he had a nice little return, but was aided by a block in the back.
Mr. Hamlin, did you see where that toss was initially going to?
Yeah, I think it was intended for Rollison, who made the earlier catch on the first play of the game.
I think the Rollison was just a little too up on the field, and which the far toss there.
Yeah, it looked like maybe they weren't quite on the same page with the route. It looked like he broke it off, and Fallon threw it to a spot where he expected him to be. But look, you got to take advantage of those turnovers. Talked to Coach Mickens yesterday, and he felt like the key to this game would be who made less mistakes. Both teams have really strong defenses. I don't think we're expecting necessarily a shootout here, but probably a defensive struggle. So being able to turn Collegiate over early and get good field position is really important, especially with the Titans breaking in our freshman quarterback, Tegan Logan, in his first start. He did play most of last week's game at McNamara after, of course, our starter, Jack Toscano, went down with a fractured finger. And Logan's first pass is incomplete. Look for a little swing pass.
Hamlin, I want to ask you about this. What are your thoughts on having a freshman quarterback starting in this game?
I've been watching Trinity football for a long time, and I don't remember if we've ever had a freshman start. That's a really unusual thing to have happen at the high school level. But Tegan is really super prepared. He works really hard. Got a great arm, got a great head on his shoulders, really mature. And I talked to Jack Toscano this week as Thompson is thrown for a 5-yard loss. Good job by the Cougars defense there as they swarmed. And there was just nothing there for Thompson. So it is going to bring up 3rd and 15. But just to finish that thought, Jack Toscano, the normal starter, and he's been the starter here for 3 years, he had a lot of confidence in Tegan. So he felt like he could get the job done. And right there you see a veteran play by that young quarterback drawing the Cougars off sides. And that 5-yard loss from the previous play, we're going to get it right back here on the penalty. So it's going to be 3rd and 10. Tegan Logan, also a great baseball player, so really promising young athlete in this Trinity athletic program. And here he goes with a throw, and it's not a first down. It was, to be honest with you, it was a perfect throw by the young quarterback. Hit Cam Fleming in stride, but I think Cam was thinking about what moves he was going to make and wasn't able to bring in the reception there. But it's promising to see the young QB on 3rd and 10, super poised. And Cam Fleming is an absolute star on this team. He's going to make huge plays all day and all season. But I think Fleming probably would like to have that one back.
Yeah, in general, good connection by an open pocket there, and Cam Fleming being open and in the area would have been a great play if it wasn't.
Yeah, it was a really well-designed play, a really good throw. And a nice punt there that is going to be down at the 1-yard line. That is a beautiful punt.
That's a playbook punt right there. Exactly at the 1.
Yeah, so, also Toscano, the quarterback, is the usual starting punter, so I actually didn't catch that punt. It may have been Mario Thompson that punted that.
James Woodward was able to get the ball at the 1.
Oh, that's a great play by Woodward there, kind of back the Cougars all the way back to their own 1. And just as I was talking about a few minutes ago, we're expecting a field position battle here today, so to pin Collegiate in the shadow of their own goalpost is crucial.
Especially when they had the ball last, it was an interception. So it's maybe a little nervous by the quarterback. Early interception could be happening again.
Yeah, see if the Titans can take advantage here. It is a nice throw by Fallon, but the ball pops loose for a fumble.
Looks like Elijah.
And
Zaire able to get that fumble up.
Yeah, Zaire Rayner with the fumble recovery. I think it was, I don't know if it was Thompson that knocked it loose. The Cougar player caught that ball, made a move upfield, and then a great job by the Titans to jar it loose. It definitely was a catch and a fumble, and then Zaire Rayner right there, ready to make that play. That's
And it's another big player. I was talking to Jackatana like you were asking, and he said Zaire Rayner, safety for our defense, is a very good sophomore player there. It'll be fun seeing him.
He's phenomenal. Really fun to watch. Just a sophomore. He's already receiving a lot of college interest. And his dad, one of our coaches, Wally Rayner, was a star at the University of Virginia and then had a 8-year NFL career. So he comes from a football family, and it's actually not going to be first and goal because there was a penalty, and that first and goal play fumble. I thought that looked like a forward pass, but the ref seemed to be treating it as a fumble, and I think the Cougars recovered. So Titans not able to take advantage of that great field position. Yeah, it looked like Tegan Logan just wasn't on the same page there with Mario Thompson. Still thought it could have been a forward pass with a little shovel pass, but officials deem it a fumble, and a couple ways to look at that from the Titans standpoint. I mean, you could say a missed opportunity for sure, but having said that, Collegiate's basically right back in the same position they were in 2 plays ago with the ball inside their own 10-yard line. I did want to revisit that forced fumble. I believe that it may have been Deuce Edwards who caused the fumble that Rayner recovered. And then as far as the recovery on that last play for the Cougars, could not see who that was. A little difficult to make out their gold numbers on the white jerseys for us up here, so not sure who came up with that for the Cougars, but they were swarming around it. And Collegiate runs it on first down. Donovan Williams picked up 1 or 2 before being brought down by Mario Thompson. Looks like it's going to be second and about 9.
So, Mr. I was wondering, Mr. Hammond, what are your thoughts on Mario Thompson, as he's a star player on offense and defense, and he's looking like already he's making some great plays?
Yeah, he's a fantastic player, one of the most talented players and most experienced players on this team. And after this play, I want to tell you a little story about Thompson, but it's a nice connection there for the Cougars out across the 20 as looked like Jalen Pierce made the reception. Nice throw by Fallon, and it will be first down. And Collegiate has much better field position now than they've had the last several plays. Just going to say about Mario Thompson, 2 years ago, he went down with really horrific leg injury on homecoming here at Aycock Stadium. And the fact that he's back out there and having an unbelievably productive season is just a credit to a ton of hard work he put in to get back. And Cougars running on first down with Williams, and it was, I believe, Hunter Brooks in on the tackle. Hunter Brooks last week at Bishop McNamara had one of the harder hits you're ever going to see in a high school game. I mean, he really can just lay people out. Very strong, very athletic. Hunter's another one of these playmakers on defense that the Titans really are stocked with, and I know the coaches are extremely excited about players like Thompson, who we just mentioned, like Cam Fleming, like Elijah and Zaire Rayner, and Hunter Brooks and Connor Erlenbach. And
another big hit by Hunter
yeah, there's Hunter Brooks and Connor Erlenbach, 2 names I just said, teaming up for a tackle for a loss there. Great job by the Titans to get into the backfield and force a 3rd and long. Connor Erlenbach 2 weeks ago against Benedictine played one of the more inspired games that you're ever going to see in a high school athlete. Just was everywhere. Really willing the team to a major victory over there at Henrico High School in front of a massive crowd 2 weeks ago. Estimates of upwards of 4,000 fans saw that Benedictine game, and let me tell you,
it seems pretty packed here. We have 2 student sections.
Yeah.
Colored in red, and blue for the 9/11 day.
Yeah, huge crowd again today. A little tough to estimate from this vantage point, but it is quite an impressive crowd. And who wouldn't want to come out to see these 2 rivals, 2 teams that expect to have really strong seasons on a perfect, beautiful fall day. The sun is shining. teams are battling, and I think all of us in the back of our minds, so as you said, Silvio, do remember that this is the day in American history that is one that was tragic. And of course, these high school students too young to remember those events. But I think you all know from what you've heard from your parents and grandparents what a tragic day 9/11 was, and we can't forget that even as we celebrate high school athletics. But one thing that's cool to see is a lot of red, white, and blue out here from both student sections in a show of unity. Really cool to see that. Coming out of the timeout, this is a really big play here on 3rd and 10 for the Cougars.
And talking about defensive-wise, both defenses have been great on fumbles and just great stopping and making sure no coverage is getting passed on either, both team.
Yeah, exactly, Silvio. Snap was a little high, but controls it. And another interception. Yep. Hunter Brooks with the pick, and he could go.
He's going 10.
He returns it all the way inside the 5. Hunter Brooks picked off the pass, almost took it for a pick 6. He did ultimately get brought down, I believe, by the quarterback Fallon, finally at the 5-yard line. But that was pretty cool play. Brooks looked like he had it, then he bobbled it for a minute, but regained possession.
Is that the 3rd or 2nd interception made by Owen Fallon there?
Yeah, it's 2 interceptions plus the fumble.
Fumble, yeah.
That one by Fallon, but by the receiver. But that's 3 turnovers for the Cougars in the first 6 minutes of this game.
Man, what do you think that's going to lead on, mentally-wise from Owen Fallon, that he's throwing these balls, and they're getting intercepted, fouled, and fumbled?
Mario Thompson takes it down to about the 2. Silvio, I think, Fallon, we know, is a great quarterback. I know the coaches from Trinity have a lot of respect for him and felt like that, containing him was a big key. And I do expect Fallon will bounce back. But having said that, I think the key here is now the 3rd turnover by Collegiate in the first 6 minutes, but so far no points to show for the Titans. They really need to get on the scoreboard here. I think it would be very demoralizing to have this great field position and get nothing out of it. So we'll see on 2nd and goal. Not a good snap at all, but Tegan Logan was able to hop on it, which does force the Titans all the way back to about the 13. I think that snap just never really made it off the ground.
Yeah.
And Trinity's going to call timeout here. I think a wise timeout for Coach Mickens.
I think I saw some miscommunication from center Will Rosen there. He did run back to the coach and then that might have been
Yeah, I mean, with this 3rd and goal, and also knowing that the normal place kicker is Jack Toscano, that is gonna be tough to count on a field goal here. So
yeah.
I think you're looking at 2 plays to try and get in the end zone, and see offensive coordinator Malcolm Bell talking to the team, talking to Tegan Logan, and we'll see what they dial up here on 3rd and goal.
Yeah, for sure.
Good snap there. Logan's got some time. Oh, it was a nice defensive play by. I didn't catch who broke up that pass, but Logan was looking for Cam Fleming, and the defensive back for Collegiate there might have been number 2, Jalen Pierce. Again, we apologize to any Cougar fans out there, but it's just
might have seen like a 6 or 2. I'm not
tough to make out their numbers, but one of those defensive backs for the Cougars just did a great job getting a hand and breaking up that pass. Would have been a sure 6 points for Trinity.
I think it's one of the first throws we've seen by our quarterback, Logan.
Big 4th down play here. Scrambles. Oh, that's a phenomenal play by the Collegiate defensive back on that one. And again, I think it's number 2, Jalen Pierce. Great job by Pierce or whoever it was there to leap up. Again, Logan's pass was intended for Mario Thompson. It would have been 6.
Yeah.
So got to give the Cougars a ton of credit there. Backed up against their own goal line again. The Titans had first and goal from the 5, second and goal from about the 2. That bad snap on second down, of course, put Trinity back behind the chains, and then 2 great defensive plays by Collegiate's secondary to break up what were really pretty good passes by Tegan Logan. So I really think the Cougars deserve a lot of credit. You know, they've turned it over 3 times, and yet they still have held the Titans off the scoreboard. And that's, you know, at the end of the day, turnovers are important, but really what matters is the scoreboard. And I'm out, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. I mean, first play of the possession, you would think they would have kind of known what was to expect, but there was a little confusion there. So Collegiate goes ahead and burns a timeout. And now we sit about midway first quarter. It's incredible because there's been so much action.
On the Cougar side, we haven't really seen action on halves of the field.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, Trinity also, I guess, had a turnover as well. And 3 Cougar turnovers, the one Titan turnover. So in 6 minutes of play, it's been a lot of big plays, but none have resulted in points yet.
And I'm still thinking on defense, Mario Thompson a lot. He has, you know, the height, the speed, and he has the hands for offensive end.
Yeah, Thompson is a playmaker on both sides of the ball for sure. All right, so first down, Collegiate ball at their own 13. And we're still in first quarter action with no score. Cougars toss it out there to Donovan Williams. He picked up about 6 yards.
So, Zaire Rayner able to get that stop there.
Yeah, Rayner with the tackle again. He's been making plays already in this first half, and yeah, I think it was a 5-yard gain, so it'll be 2nd and 5 as the officials come together. Don't believe there's maybe there is a flag. No flag, yeah, the official waves off. Actually think the flag just happened to fall out of his pocket there. 2nd and 5. Another handoff to Williams. He fights for close to a first down. That's going to be really close, and he is just short shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1. So seems like Collegiate, this possession is, you know, decided to go to the ground game after those couple of interceptions.
Yeah.
And Williams has run twice here for 9 yards. Also keeps that clock moving. Eli Petty goes in motion, and it's another handoff, and this one is enough for a first down. They needed 1. They picked up 2, and that is a first down by Donovan Williams, the senior captain. All right, Collegiate 1st and 10 from their own 24. 3 straight runs were enough to pick up that first down. There's a 4th straight run. This one goes for about a yard or 2. And John Brooks made the tackle after a gain of, yeah, it's really just a 1-yard gain there by Williams. So it'll be 2nd and 9. Collegiate's got 4 wide receivers split out. They have run it 4 straight plays. They are throwing it this time, and it is caught.
Mario Thompson.
Yeah, it was a 4-yard gain there. Mario Thompson with another tackle. And that looks like it was Jalen Pierce on the reception, I think. may have been LJ Booker. Again, the Cougar numbers tough to see, particularly the single-digit ones, at least from our vantage point up in the press box. But I think it was Booker, and it's a big one. 3rd and 5 here. Really big play in this first quarter. Fallon rolling out. A little bit of pressure there by Hunter Brooks, and Fallon had nothing. He had no receiver even in the area. Great job by Hunter Brooks. Fallon ran out of real estate there, rolling right, and threw it. Really just threw it away.
We really need to be paying attention to Hunter Brooks here.
Yeah, Hunter Brooks is already making huge plays with an interception. Quarterback hurry there on a crucial 3rd down play. Really can't say enough about Brooks' efforts on that defensive side of the ball.
If Trey Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson is a really exciting punt returner. I guess this is the first time Collegiate has kicked. First Trinity kicked off to open the game, and then the first 3 Cougar possessions ended in turnovers. So this is their first punt. It was an end-over-end punt that bounces at about the Titan 43, and Ferguson's just going to get out of the way. Rolls about 9 or 10 yards, and Titans will take over at their own 34.
First time we're seeing the ball really over on the Titan side of the field, so see how we can do on offense, and at least his defense being really strong. This might be a little.
Yeah, this is the first time Trinity's taken over, if not great field position. I mean, their own 34 is not terrible, but the last few possessions have started right around midfield the first time, and then 2 possessions started deep in Collegiate territory. So your own 34, not too bad. I mean, we discussed right from the outset this would be a game with a battle of field position, 2 really high-level defenses. So, I felt all week like this was a game that, first team the team can get to 20. I think they have a great chance to win, and might even have to revise that lower as no one scored yet. Titans handoff there, and it is Trey Grant. And Grant picked up about 2 yards.
I believe that's the first time we've seen Grant being run there.
Yeah, that's Grant's first carry of the game, and they would pick up a couple. I know from talking to the coaches, they really like Trey Grant's vision out of the backfield. They really feel like he does a nice job of finding the hole. And Grant, only a sophomore, so yet another one of these talented young Titans. And Grant carries again, fights hard for about another 2 yards. Collegiate defensive line really penetrated well into the backfield, and it's actually a great job by Grant not to lose yardage and in fact pick up a couple. He did a nice job there, but still, it's going to bring up 3rd and about 7.
Trey Grant only round 5A. It looked like he was going off against number 44 there, which seems a little bit taller than Trey Grant. So, I mean, against him getting yards in that play there was very impressive.
Yeah, he fought hard for that one. And then we see a penalty here as for the second time, Tegan Logan was able to use his cadence to get the Cougars to jump off sides. And that's crucial. I mean, the difference between 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 2 is huge for the young quarterback here. So 3rd and a very manageable distance of 2 yards. Titans have 4 receivers, 3 out to the left, 1 out to the right. It's going to be a first down. Is that Grant again? Yes, it is. Trey Grant with his 3rd consecutive run.
I can now see what the coaches are really talking about, his vision in the back line. He's able to find a lot of these open pockets that the Cougars are leaving, and I think that's very impressive, especially as a sophomore.
Yeah, great job by Grant there. And he's going to get it for a 4th straight time, and I think he's picked up more yards every single time, and this is a first down and more for Trey Grant. Hey, Silvio, that was not just his vision, although that was impressive, but that was also just beast mode as he was able to knock a Cougar defender out of the way and pick up additional yards after contact. About 17 yards there for Grant, all the way to the 35 of the Cougars. So that's 4 straight runs for Grant, and it went like this. 1 yard, then 2, then about 6, and then 17. So every time he's touched the ball, he's increased his production, and now he is going to get a break and get a little water. And I think they
Hunter Brooks is going back in, he'll be a threat in this game as well.
Hunter Brooks gets the carry, and pretty good pickup there. Picked up about 4 yards. So it's really nice to be able to have that depth in the backfield. We've already seen Mario Thompson back there with a couple good carries. We saw Trey Grant, those 4 really strong carries, and now Hunter Brooks picks up 4 yards. And just like the Cougars, on their previous possession really went to the ground game, now the Titans have gone to the ground game.
Now, do you think that's going to be affecting over around 4 interceptions we've had, the 3 interceptions we've had, and 1 fumble? You think that's definitely affecting the coaches' thoughts of we go ground game, air game,
I think that's a great point, Silvio. When the ball's flying around and turnovers, sometimes the best thing you can do is just trust your offensive line, trust your running back, put it in their hands, and let them chew up some yardage. And they've been able to do that on this possession, and they're doing it yet again with Brooks. And he's going to, I think, looks like get another first down. He does to the 24. That's going to be the last play of the first quarter. So that was a pickup of 6 yards by Hunter Brooks. And that'll end the first quarter. No score, but plenty of action here at Aycock Stadium.
Indeed.
So, yeah, we're going to take a very quick break. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. And when we come back, it'll be first down for the Titans at the Collegiate 24.
Jake Hall. Jake.
All right, we're back. Kicking off the second quarter here.
24, I believe, correct?
Yeah, ball's on the Collegiate 24-yard line. Still scoreless, but 1st and 10 for the Titans, who've picked up nice yardage with 6 consecutive runs. 4 by Trey Grant, 2 by Hunter Brooks, and now it's Mario Thompson. And Thompson gained 3. So, wow, I mean, you're talking about the 3rd different tailback we've seen just on this possession. And Thompson was a little slow getting up there, but he is shaking out that ankle. I'm not sure if that's the surgically repaired one that he had that really bad injury a couple years ago, but I think he's fine. Shaking it off a little bit. Certainly anytime, for those of us who saw that happen, anytime Thompson goes down, you hold your breath a little bit, but he's a really tough kid, an unbelievable athlete, and he's going to get the ball in his hands here. No, he's not. He bobbled that one and dropped it to Thompson. On the little swing pass from Tegan Logan, which is unfortunate because it looked like going to be a pickup of pretty good yardage there. Thompson had some open field ahead of him. That's the second time we've seen Titan. Yeah, I think earlier it was Fleming, and this one Thompson. So twice that Titan receivers have drop balls, which of course for the 9th grade quarterback is he needs those veteran receivers to make all those catches. But we're gonna have offside on Collegiate here, which is crazy because the last time that Trinity had 3rd and 7, Collegiate jumped off sides and made it 3rd and 2, and then just again it was 3rd and 7, and again it's now 3rd and 2, and that's got to be driving the Cougar coaching staff crazy with their 3rd offside penalty of this first half. Trey Grant is back in. Trey Grant has a first down and more. Trey Grant has a touchdown for the Titans. Trey Grant fighting through several tackles, showing off that vision we talked about, showing off the physicality we talked about.
I think that's just him going beast mode there. I think him being a pretty big dude weight-wise, just him being able to roll through that defensive line and being able to get those yards.
Yeah, phenomenal job by Trey Grant there. I mean, the offensive line gave him a great hole for sure, but definitely the last part of that was all Grant, using that strength, keeping his legs moving, And that's crucial in this game that we expect to be pretty low scoring, to get on the board first, to take the lead. And you can't say it hasn't been coming. I mean, Trinity's definitely won the field position battle so far. Not doing the execution there, though, on the extra point very well.
You know who that extra point was made by?
I believe J.D. Stemhagen, who is just, it certainly wasn't Stemhagen's fault there. I mean, the snap was high. Tried to get it down to get the kickoff, but really the whole operation was problematic there. And for Stemhagen, with his first live action in terms of ever place kicking, they didn't do him any favors there, as the Cougar defensive line was right on top of him by the time he was able to get the kickoff. But yeah, so Stemhagen just joined the team this week. He, of course, as Titan fans will know, is a terrific baseball player, and he has played soccer as well. But this fall he was not playing, and then with Jack Toscano, the normal kicker, and of course the starting quarterback went down last week. They really were struggling to find a kicker, and JD stepped up. So he's only been with the team for 4 or 5 days. And his opening kickoff was a good one, and he's about to kick off again. And again, not his fault at all.
Made a
on that
further
extra
kickoff
point.
to the 1 yard line, which is amazing here to see if can do that again.
Yeah, you don't see that a whole lot in high school football. To be able to put it that deep, it's a huge weapon. And really, I mean, that opening kickoff that put the Cougars in pretty bad field position, and they've kind of stayed that way. So special teams playing a big part. And again, Stemhagen booms it deep. Going to be received inside the 10 by the Cougars. And they bring it out past the 20. That was Christian Williams on the return, and it was Cornell Allen with the tackle and forcing him out of bounds. So another good kick by Stemhagen. Christian Williams received it about the 8 and brought it out. Ultimately, it's going to be the 23 where the officials spot this ball as the Cougars come back out on offense. Lee just had a couple first downs, a couple good throws from Fallon, but also the 3 turnovers. So we'll see if they can get anything going here. They really focused on the running attack last possession and did have some success running the football with Donovan Williams. But ultimately, that Hunter Brooks pressure on the 3rd down got the ball back in Titan hands, and Trinity took advantage by scoring the first points of the game. Fallon's going to run this one, and he ran tough. I mean, he only picked up about a yard, but it was a tough yard. His helmet popped off there at the end.
I believe that was Elijah Rayner being able to get that. A hit on the quarterback there.
Yeah, good tackle there by Rayner. I think Matt Houston looked like he was chasing the quarterback in there as well.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Along with several other Titans. So ultimately, a lot of running for maybe a yard at the most, but it was a tough run by Fallon. Looked like he was going to lose yardage. And this time they do hand off to Williams, and he picks up 3 yards. So it'll be 3rd and 7. Cougars have converted 2 third downs here in the first half. One with probably their biggest offensive play of the game on their first possession when Fallon hit about a 20-yard pass.
Robbie Dunn. Robbie Dunn?
They had the tackle?
No, they were sorry about that. 66 for.
Oh, yeah. All right, big 3rd down. Fallon looking to pass. He's under pressure. Erlenbach pressuring, completes the pass, and it is enough for a first down. Really nice job there by Fallon. And he hit Hayden Rollison, who had the earlier 3rd down conversion. So that's twice that Fallon has found Rollison on 3rd down. Fallon was rolling left. He was under a lot of pressure. Found Erlenbach in his face, and Fallon showed great poise there to complete the pass. Rollison got the feet in bounds, and the Cougars moved chains.
One thing I've definitely seen from the Cougars offense, it's a lot of captain-to-captain point making, and a lot of captain-to-captain yardage here, and I wonder how that's going to affect, defense, maybe next year for their game. Wondering how, if those captains drop, do they have those strong players again?
Yeah, I would imagine that they probably do. Cougars have a really historically strong program, really well coached. I think they have. I'm sure they have younger players ready to step in, but yeah, their senior captains are keeping them in the game for sure. And there's another one of those captains, Donovan Williams, carrying the ball for pretty good yardage there. It looks like he picked up, we're going to say 8 yards on that one. Yeah, so Williams carried it there for actually more like 7 yards. I think I said 8. A little hard from our vantage point sometimes to tell the exact yard line, but 2nd and 3 coming up. Go back to Donovan Williams. He's going to be close to a first down. I think it's going to be just a little bit short, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and 1. All right, 3rd and 1. Collegiate already has 1 first down this possession. They do have 4 wide receivers for the 3rd and 1. Play action. Fallon looking to pass. He's not going to get the pass off because Robbie Dunn makes a huge sack on 3rd and 1. Great job by Robbie Dunn there.
Definitely a really lot of aggression there by the defensive line, and I don't see any opening for Owen Fallon. Definitely just crowded by the defense, and I think Owen Fallon had a big panic there.
Yeah, absolutely, and you got to give a lot of credit to the secondary as well because even with 4 wide receivers, nobody bid on that play action fake by Fallon, which is to the credit of our secondary because, the Cougars have run the ball pretty effectively this possession. Sometimes they fake that handoff and you see those safeties come up and bite on it, but everybody stayed back, everybody stayed disciplined, which allowed Dunn the time to get into the backfield and make a crucial sack. That's going to force Collegiate to punt. Trey Ferguson back again. He did not field the first punt of the game, let it drop where it rolled for about 10 yards, and I saw Coach Mickens really getting on him to make sure he does field it, and this one he's going to get the opportunity. Catches it over his shoulder, makes one man miss, makes another man miss. Ultimately, though, a host of Cougars bring Ferguson down at the 26-yard line. So, pretty exciting, even though they're only about a 3 or 4 yard return. But Ferguson
really was able to get around those players.
Yeah, he's so quick. He's super elusive. He was a star man in the victory over Benedictine a couple weeks ago with, I believe it was 3 touchdowns and over 100 yards receiving. And certainly in the past, we've also seen him bring kicks back to the house. He is a weapon and a threat every time the ball touches his hands. Don't believe he's had a reception yet today.
Definitely going to see some speed and some today, which is going to be a great wise.
All right, back to Trey Grant. I think that the coaches feel like they really found something here with Grant. He carries the ball for 5 yards.
We're just seeing Trey Grant being able to roll to this defensive line. I'm really going to see how the Cougars defensive line coach is really going to see how they're going to Trey there.
Yeah, Grant has really been a revelation since coming into the game. I mean, every time he carries the ball, it's positive yardage. And for the 4th time in the first half, Collegiate has jumped off sides. It was 2nd and about 5, so it's going to be really close to a first down. I'm not sure if it'll give the Titans a first down. It does indeed, yes. So a couple things at play there. I mean, you got a 9th grade quarterback giving him 3 yards, and he claps. He's got the hard snap count, and the Cougars are biting on it.
Definitely going to see the coaches there being a little upset by the defeat.
Yeah, got to be frustrating. Catch there made by Isaiah Robinson. That's a freshman to freshman connection there as Tegan Logan, the freshman quarterback, hits Robinson, the freshman wide receiver, and Robinson picked up 6 yards there. We've got a flyover of, looks like about 6 planes over the stadium. I don't know if you can see that on your stream as you're watching at home or on your phone, but that was not something that you see at a high school football game very often. That was pretty cool. Logan hands off to Mario Thompson. Thompson gained about 8 yards. There is a flag, though. I think we might have a hold there. Indeed, we do. Unfortunate, because Thompson really did a nice job with a big cut, and he would have had a first down, but for the penalty, which is now going to put the Titans behind the chains. So instead of first down at midfield, it's going to be second and long from as they mark it off. It'll ultimately put the ball down at the 33-yard line of Trinity. It's going to be second and 14 as we'll replay second down there after the penalty. Tegan Logan, pass, he put it right on the shoulder pads of Isaiah Robinson, and Robinson couldn't hang on. So add that to the list of drop balls. Third drop in the first half.
By Trinity wide receiver. Maybe that's why the coaches really sticking to a ground game today. The wide receivers off their game where it's difficult for them to catch.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great throw. Robinson just made a catch a couple plays ago, and Robinson had a phenomenal catch last week at Bishop McNamara of a jump ball in traffic. So I know the coaches are really high on his potential, but yeah, maybe a little bit of a freshman mistake there as he was thinking about what he was going to do before he made the catch. But guess what just happened, Silvio?
Another offside?
Another offside.
I mean, if I was the collegiate coach right now, I would be furiated. And, I mean, that's the fifth one in the first half.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that many
Especially
offsides.
from this freshman quarterback. I don't know if they can't get his plays down, but
yeah,
if they can't, he can do this. He can get it to the 50-yard line and really
20,
setting up
25
Trinity.
extra yards right there. And it's been several different collegiate players. It's not just one guy. All right, pressure here. Logan is in big pressure. He actually gets the throw off. Going to be incomplete. There is a flag in the backfield, and I think it's going to be a hold again. It is indeed. Pretty amazing that Tegan Logan didn't get sacked there with several defenders in his face. He was able to get the throw away, but it was incomplete, and I would imagine the Cougars will probably decline this penalty.
I think I saw some big pressure there. 14, Hayden Rolston. I think that was really good on his part, really being able to get around the defense. Big pressure we've seen.
Yeah, and Rollison, who's had a couple key catches, another one of those captains, like you mentioned earlier. The Cougars captains have really stood out as standout players for them today. The quarterback, Fallon, Rollison as a receiver, and they're on the defensive side of the ball, as well as Donovan Williams playing two ways. So it is fourth down. It is Trey Ferguson who's going to punt. The first punt that the Titans had went all the way down to the Cougar 1-yard line. This is a nice punt by Ferguson. It's fair caught, and it's a good punt. Flips the field position, about a 40-yard punt, and no return. So a nice job there by Trey Ferguson, who is not necessarily trained to punt, but he's stepping in with Jack Toscano on the sidelines, and it's a great punt by Ferguson and a fair catch by Jalen Pierce.
Talking about the Trinity team, Trinity injury line. We have, the starting quarterback, and I know we do have some defensive players also injured.
Yeah, there's, of course injuries are going to happen in any sport, especially in football, but you're right. LJ Jones, who's a really big-time defensive player, that's Lewis Jones III. He's out. I think he'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Singleton brothers, both sidelined, who are crucial offensive linemen with foot injuries. All right, Cougar ball, first down, and it's a pretty good first down play. It's a 9-yard pass to Williams, and the ball came out at the end, but he was down. The ground forced that, and it was not 9. It actually was 10 yards. He got just to that first down marker. So that's good first play for Collegiate, and that's crucial because I think all their possessions so far, the first play has not resulted in a whole lot of positive yards, so they've been facing a lot of second and third and long. But on that one, 10 yards right off the bat, and they got to like that as we enter into about just over 4 minutes left until halftime. It's time they hand it off to Williams, and he picked up 3 yards that time. Yeah, so it was Jay Williams with the tackle of Donovan Williams. And it's be 2nd and 7. Titan student section coming to life here for the 2nd down and 7. Run the ball there with the wide receiver, number 7, I believe it was, Ben Street, as they tried a little wide receiver action in motion, and it went nowhere. In fact, it was a 3-yard loss. Sylvia, did you see who had the tackle on that one?
Connor Ellenbach, number 8 for Trinity, was able to get the hands on
Bach with the tackle. Guy plays so hard. Also a great lacrosse player. Really happy to see the season he's having. Of course, all these Titans got only to play 2 games last year with COVID, so it's awesome to see, especially the seniors like Erlenbach, get a chance to do their thing. A lot of pressure here on Fallon. Interception. This could go. It's Elijah Rayner to the house. Touchdown. Titans. Pick 6.
Pick 6, yeah.
Elijah Rayner picked that off at about the 30 and took it all the way back for 6.
That's the Rainers again. We talked about them earlier in the first quarter. I mean, Zaire Rayner was able to get a lot of good hands on it. He was even able to get, I believe, the fumble ball. So we're seeing the Rayner brothers here being able to get these balls. Maybe that's going to be really going over for the second half to a ground game from the Collegiate.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Zaire and Elijah Rayner, so fun to watch. Really intense competitors, and certainly you know where they get it from with the father who played in the NFL and also who's on this coaching staff. He had to love seeing that. As I see Coach Rayner giving a high five to Zaire Rayner, Elijah's actually still out there after scoring the touchdown. He's on extra point blocking duty. And that extra point is good. There you go. J.D. Stemhagen with his first made extra point. And that makes it 13-0. So, yeah, Elijah Rayner, man, he put it all out there. Saw him score that touchdown. He got a little bit sick. If anybody else caught that on the broadcast, that Elijah looked like had a little liquid come out there, but then he was able to block for the extra point, and now he's wearing that turnover chain with pride. Really, really important there. Again, you know, we've said all along, expecting a defensive struggle, 2 great defenses. So when you can score with your defense, and that takes a lot of pressure also off the freshman quarterback.
And Mr. Chapman, you said at the beginning of the game, you're looking around 20, and that team could have a really good lead. And Trinity does look on the lines of getting that 20 points very soon.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, game flow can change, and certainly Collegiate has shown the ability to move the ball. It's turnovers that have really bitten them. So this one far from over, but you'd much rather be up 13 than down 13, obviously. Yeah. And with 2:38 to go in the half, and the Titans are going to get the ball to start the second half. If they can hold Collegiate scoreless in this first half, you gotta like where you go into the locker room. But this opening kickoff here is brought back out to about the 28. There is a flag on that return.
I believe that was Christian Williams from Collegiate that was able to carry that ball to the 20.
And there is, looks like a face mask there at the end. So 15 additional yards for the Cougars. So instead of taking over at their own 28, they're going to actually have pretty good field position at the 43. believe that's the best opening field position Collegiate has had yet today. And one of the things that we talked about opening the broadcast was how big field position would be in this game. And so far, almost the whole game has been played in positive yardage for the Titans and negative yardage for Collegiate. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can cross midfield here. I think they've only been able to cross midfield once, and that was just about the 48 before a turnover. It's a nice catch, but it's not going anywhere. Deuce Edwards makes the tackle after the catch by Jalen Pierce. That is actually going to be a loss of 2 yards. Great coverage there by Edwards.
Edwards, another young player, only a sophomore.
Yeah, the present is bright for Titan football, but the future is arguably even brighter because I think there's only a handful of seniors on this team. So expect great things, not only this year, but for years to come.
Yeah.
And at the second down and 12 play, Fallon throws incomplete, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 12. 1:45 to go in the half. If the Titans can get a stop here and get the ball back, that would be huge. Having said that, if Collegiate's able to convert and get a 1st down and get to Trinity territory, then it could be a great opportunity for them. So I think you can make a case that this is one of the most important plays we've seen in this half, this 3rd and 12.
Especially we've seen more air play than ground play right now from the Cougars, which I think is interesting, especially with all the turnovers we had.
Yep.
Definitely, the coach is taking pride in their quarterback.
A lot of pressure. It's Jay Williams and Connor Erlenbach combining for the sack. That is for a loss of 11. And we talked about that being arguably the biggest play yet. Well, it is huge for the Titans. 11-yard loss is going to make it 4th down and 23. It's going to make the Cougars have to punt. And with 1:33 left, Coach Mickens calls a timeout to preserve some clock, which also tells me that the Titans are not content just to go into the locker room up 13. They're going to try and go into the 2-minute drill here and tack on some additional points before halftime. Also give Trey Ferguson a chance, hopefully, to get his hands on a ball for this punt return. Hey, stay with us at halftime because we are expecting to have an interview with Trinity Athletic Director Anna Prilliman and just talk to her about the direction of the athletic department in general. Also want to ask her about TESPN. If you're tuned into us now, you're listening to just our 3rd broadcast in the first football game. So really excited. Coach Prilliman has had a huge hand in launching this TESPN project. And so we are hoping to talk to her at the half. All right, here comes the punt. They do get it off. There was some pressure there by Zaire Rayner, but they do get the punt off. And Cougars get a pretty good bounce as it crosses the Titan 40. That was, I think it's Jack Bradley with the punt for the Cougars. Pretty good one. That ends up being about a 31-yard punt with no return. All right, 1:24 to go. We know Trinity's going to try and tack on some points here before halftime. Good protection. And Logan's going to take off and run, and he picked up about 8.
Yeah.
And he hopped right back up. He took a hard hit there.
Another player that's been able to find gaps in the defensive line from, we've seen Trey Grant do that a lot, and now we're seeing Logan be able to do that as well.
Yeah, Tegan Logan really turned on the Jets there. I did not realize he was that quick, but once he made up his mind, put his foot in the ground, and decided to head upfield with it, he picked up yardage in chunks and ends up making it 2nd and short. As we're down to 45 seconds to go. That pass is complete to AK Key.
I think it's one of the first big passes, or just generally passes we've seen from either side We did have one other catch later, but that's kind of the first really big catches we've had.
Yeah, so Key picked up 2, so it is going to be 3rd and 1 as the clock winds under 30 seconds to go to halftime. Snap was a little high. Logan's going to try and run for it, but he's not going to get there. He is brought down by a host of Cougars, but it looked like the first one that got to him there was Michael West on the tackle. I think he also got some help from Hudson Avery. So there also is a Cougar down on the
field,
play
yeah.
with 9 seconds to go.
And what do you think when we get into halftime, having the Cougars maybe having the ball or the Titans having the ball? What do you think that's going to lead into more happening?
Yeah, so it should be Collegiate should be kicking off to start the second half, and the Titans will receive that. And you know, this half, of course, we still have 9 seconds, and I'll be curious with this 4th down play if Coach Mickens tries to go ahead and get some more points before halftime.
Yeah.
But you don't want to turn it over on downs and leave Collegiate an opportunity with 9 seconds here. So, so definitely curious what the plan is here.
I could see maybe Trey going in for a good. We have seen him getting only positive yards, so I could definitely see him leading into a charge here. And I feel like that could be a very big opportunity to be able to get the first down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just what you don't want to have happen is to not get the 4th down and leave any time for Collegiate. So, yeah, maybe kind of a longer developing play and then hope you get maybe some receivers downfield and put up a Hail Mary or else a really quick hitter, but then you got to make sure you get that first down and don't give the Cougars any time. Right now, though, we have a Collegiate player down being attended to.
Not sure what number.
Yeah, we can't see the number. Certainly hope that he is going to be okay. Trainers from both schools are out on the field. I mean, he's definitely moving. I think it looks like maybe an ankle situation, but he is now looks like getting up. And it is good to see the young man from Collegiate up. Yeah, it's Christian Miller. It's favoring that ankle. Certainly no issue with a head injury or anything like that, but he is being helped off the field.
Four and one, though. Definitely see maybe on play.
Yeah, so sorry there, had a little pause, but looks like the offense is going to come back out here on 4th down. I see Tegan Logan and the O-line preparing. So the offense does come back out on the field. Trey Grant in the backfield. Trey Grant has been phenomenal in this first half of play, running the football. And they're signaling that Trinity called a timeout. I'm not quite sure why, because with the injury, that stopped the clock anyway. Coach Miggins looks like he doesn't want the timeout, but the officials have decided that is going to be the case.
Maybe some indication there between refs and.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, with only 9 seconds left in the half, it's not a huge problem. I do think it is the last timeout that the Titans would have. So if they get the first down, they're not. I believe they're not going to be able to stop that clock again.
1 yard to go, though, so I'm definitely seeing a running play if Trey's going back out on the field. Just from what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, if you can run for it, clock will stop as they move the chains, and then maybe you get a little closer and take a shot at the end zone. And now We have the clock set.
Appreciate it.
Logan takes the snap. He is going to be a passing play. He connects with Trey Ferguson. Like you said, Trey getting involved. And yeah, I don't know. I think while the clock shows zeros, I think they might put a second or two back on the clock. He got tackled with 2 seconds left. Clock should stop on the first down, but there also is a flag for a personal foul. It's back around where Logan threw that ball, but they're signaling it's on the Titans there. So a little bit to sort out here. Ferguson made that catch for about 17 yards. And ultimately, I think that is going to go ahead and run out the first half. So, yeah, Collegiate's going to just decline it, take the time run off, and we are at halftime. So the halftime score, Trinity Episcopal 13, Collegiate 0. Really entertaining first half.
Yeah.
For you folks joining us on the broadcast, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then we're going to hope on the back end of that break to get Athletic Director Anna Prilliman with us for an interview. Of course, the video will continue, so you'll get to see the halftime ceremony. But Silvio and I are going to take about a 5-minute break, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a few, talking to Coach Prilliman, and then we have an exciting second half ahead of us. So a lot to come here from Aycock Stadium. We'll be back.
Trinity has made such a huge difference. The field behind me represents so much. It's where our Titans come together to cheer on teammates, classmates, friends, and family. And I really want to thank the Titan family who saw a need and wanted to ensure that our students had the best. Without these individuals, this turf field project would not have been possible. So thank you so very much, and go Titans.
And one last thanks, Ann Hurt from the Development Department and her department for all the work they've done to make sure that we had this turf field for athletics. Students, help me with a cheer. Thank you, Titans. Thank you, Titans. Thank you, Titans. All right, thanks everybody. Enjoy halftime. Enjoy the second half. Enjoy the game.
All right, as promised, we have here TESPN exclusive halftime interview with athletic director Anna Prilleman. So, Anna, I was telling the viewers right before halftime that this TESPN venture is something that you've been really working for several years. We're super excited to finally get it off the ground. Just talk about what your vision is for this broadcasting, streaming thing, and just how you see it going.
Yeah, it started off with kind of a simple thought, and that was that I wanted to give opportunities for some of our students to be involved in athletics, and maybe they weren't interested in actually being on one of our rosters, or maybe they just don't have the athletic prowess to do it, or but they still are very much interested in various sports, and they like to talk about them, and they like to do stats, and they like the behind the scenes, and that's where it started. It's not lost on me that there's other private schools and independent schools in the state of Virginia that do something similar, but I want to make it better. And I think that this is something that can go a lot of different ways. I've told the kids this is their baby just as much as it is mine, and the process with which these kids are doing the TESPN stuff is just as important to me as the product that you folks at home are listening to right now.
Yeah, so how many students are part of this operation?
It's 20 right now.
Wow.
I consider doing an application process, to be honest, because I think there's such a thing as too many cooks in the kitchen, especially as we get going. But I think we've hit the sweet spot. We've got varsity level athletes. We've got kids that don't play, aren't on any of our rosters. I think we have the IB Merit Scholar as a statistician in the group. We've got people that work in backstage. So I was happy with the 20 because it was so diverse in their interests.
Yeah, that's an incredible figure. I think, personally, I was not expecting that much interest, so that's just really great to see. And my only thing is I just wish we'd had this when I was in high school.
Yeah.
My whole future might have been different to have these opportunities of education and really almost like an internship for broadcasting.
Because the reality of the situation is every single thing we've got these TESPN kids doing is a full-time job out there.
Right.
Of course it's good to put on your college application. Of course it's good to put on a resume that you have experience in the world. And we're very conscious of that too. Again, just as important as what you guys are listening to in the actual product. So between Silvio Troy and Cooper Michelik, the first two guys that have been on the mic with you, I'm blown away. And in fact, this tells you how unsocial my Friday nights have gotten in my older age. I'm sitting there listening to your field hockey coverage last night and kind of had a surreal moment because it did come from just a thought in my mind. And so to see how cool it ended up being last night between the production and just the things that you guys were saying kind of gave me a moment of reflection for sure.
Well, certainly thank you for all the efforts you've done to make this possible for our students and also for our fans who aren't able to be here. I know, shout out to my friend in Georgia, I know is watching the game right now.
Great. And that's exactly why we need this.
Yep.
There are Titan alumni all over the country, maybe even all over the world. There are grandparents, uncles, and aunts that want to watch their family members play and simply can't get to Richmond. And with COVID, there might be some people who are still uncomfortable just being in general public, and we respect that, and we want to provide a way for all of those people to follow Titan athletics.
Yeah, I mean, college alums as well who still know these athletes who may have played with them in previous years. I know are tuning in, so that's really exciting. All right, shifting gears now, the turf. This has also been a long time coming. Of course, the first event yesterday with the field hockey, great victory for those girls, and now football. Just talk about this turf project and what it means for the school and for our student athletes.
Well, I don't know. I can't say I've been tuning in today, so I don't know what you've said about it thus far. But this project was supposed to start after the 2019-2020 school year, and then COVID hit, and Trinity being Trinity and being as humble as we are, thought it wasn't maybe just a good look to start a $1 million project when so many people were struggling. So we paused it for a little bit, and then we were going to start it sometime in the winter and didn't really want to mess with the spring sports again, having lost that 2020 season. So we ended up starting it basically right after softball hosted a state game. And to see it come together, a huge day for us as administrators was the day that they sewed that shield into the turf. We all stood out here during lunch and just kind of had a moment and had chills about it. It just looks so very cool. And just obviously from a competitive standpoint, this is the status quo now. This is not a luxury item anymore.
Yep.
And we needed it. We participate in state championship tournaments on turf between field hockey and maybe football, depending on who's hosting, and of course lacrosse. So we wanted to make sure that our student athletes were put in a position to succeed literally on the field.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks phenomenal, and who knows, maybe we'll be hosting state football.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice? So obviously huge from a leadership standpoint for you, all kind of coming together here just this week with the launch of TESPN, with the first athletic contest on the turf. So just that would take up a lot of time, energy, and so much of your day. But let's also just look at the broader picture of the athletic program. Fall sports are now well underway. You just talk about your vision as the athletic director for what you're hoping to see this fall and throughout this school year from our teams, from our athletes.
Yeah, I mean, the world of sports is forever changing, and I think there's some things in colleges that are trickling down to high school in a good way. I mean, social media is an insatiable need. We've added another person to the department to do live tweeting from TESPN, James Flowers, who is actually a Trinity alum. Obviously, this TESPN thing is just starting. I mean, we literally birthed ourselves 2 days ago, and I think sky's the limit on how much we can grow with it. We've changed picture day to media day. I think these athletes need the coverage they deserve, whether they're trying to go to the next level or just because it's fun, you know, to highlight some of these kids and the cool things that they're doing. So we're going to do some interviews. As you know, I think you'll lead that show. And I don't know if you've mentioned that yet. You could.
I've not mentioned the media day yet. That's coming up, I believe, next week on Wednesday. But from as a coach, I think picture day is a day you've always kind of dreaded as a disruption. Yeah. But media day, that's something that athletes are going to look forward to, a chance just to promote what they're doing and give them some spotlight. And as you say, in this changing landscape, that's kind of part of what 21st century high school athletics is. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
Yeah. When you talk to the media, you're basically working on public speaking, and that's a skill that everybody needs, whether you go play at the next level or not. And then for our elite athletes that will be privileged enough to play at the next level, they're going to be talking to the media all the time. We need to prepare them instead of kind of sending them out into the Wild West and saying, hope you do well. I think this is a great way to prepare them for that next step.
Exactly. I mean, there are very few careers that we could name right here that having skills in public speaking wouldn't make you a more attractive candidate for that career. So, I mean, unless you're working in a lab somewhere by yourself, pretty much being able to communicate to others is hugely important. So I think educationally those opportunities are just co-curricular as much as anything. So let's talk about today. You see, I'm not very good at estimating crowds, but there have to be a couple thousand people here or more. What does that mean just to see so many alums, past parents whose kids have moved on? Obviously, of course, Collegiate has a ton of fans here as well. How does it feel to just look around and see so many faces on this beautiful September afternoon?
There's just kind of like a giddy happiness feeling, at least for the Titan alum that I've talked to. Everybody just can't believe it. I talked to Ralph Nesbitt, of course, is in our Hall of Fame. He's up here. He about 2 hours ago was explaining to me what this place looked like 49 years ago when he first started coaching for us. Everybody's really, really, really excited. And Collegiate has came out today too. We're happy to welcome them and got their students on the track. We wouldn't trust every school with that, but I called Karen Doxey, and she said we'll do whatever we need to do for you guys to make sure that this is a good day. So thanks to Collegiate School and Karen as well.
Yeah, for sure. So game about to start, but let me ask you one more question before you go. You mentioned that collegial relationship that we have with some of these league schools. I know one thing you and I have talked about before is just how much of a team the different athletic directors are from the different schools. Can you just speak to that? Because I think a lot of people may not understand. They only see the rivalries and don't realize that, you know, at the end of the day, we're kind of all on the same team to give these kids the best possible experience.
Yeah, one of the coolest things that happened over COVID, if there is a silver lining to it, is the athletic administrators within the Prep League and within the LIS coming together and genuinely being co-workers. We feel like we are colleagues with each other just as much as we are in our own schools, and I trust Karen, I trust Julie Dayton, I trust Matt Blunden across our leagues, and we're able to communicate so much better than we used to, and Rick, I'd say we're friends. I mean, I'm friends with these people. They're good people, and I think we're all in it for the right reason, and that's educational athletics.
That's awesome. Well, I think we'll close on that thought. Hopefully we'll have more opportunities to be speaking as the year progresses. But thanks so much for the time. I know it's a super busy day for you, Coach. And, that was Anna Prilliman, Athletic Director. What a week for her, launching TESPN and the turf field. And, Anna, thanks again, and hopefully we'll enjoy the second half.
Thank you, Coach. Go Titans.
All right, so there you heard it from Athletic Director Anna Prilliman joining us at halftime. And we're just a couple of minutes from the second half kicking off. And now let's turn our attention just back to the matter at hand, this crucial Prep League game, first league game of the season for each of these teams. and a 13-0 lead for the Titans. Silvio, what were some of the keys that you saw in that first half, and what do you expect to see in the second half?
So I really saw a lot of good plays from our running backs. I think, Trey, Mario, and even the quarterback, Logan, they were able to find really good holes into the defensive line, as well as the defensive line making five fouls there. That's 25 yards, and if we see that more in the second half, I think it's going to be a pretty big game changer and more, good spirits for the coaches of the offensive line.
Yeah, that's a great point. The way that Tegan Logan was able to draw the Cougars off sides 5 times, that turned a couple 3rd and longs into 3rd and shorts. That turned 1 third down into a first down. So that is something I know that Collegiate's going to want to clean up. I think you make a great point. I mean, the first couple possessions, Trinity didn't really commit to the run and didn't score any points. But then later in the half, you're right, Trey Grant got going with several key runs, including the first touchdown.
Yeah.
Mario Thompson, we also saw Hunter Brooks carry the ball a couple of times. Tegan Logan get pressured, and he rolled out and was able to get positive yards. And he took a couple hits, but really impressed. Like, he just hopped back up. Even as a 9th grader, he took a licking and kept on ticking there. So I think that's a good point. Then as far as the Cougars go, they did a good job at times running.
Really doing really well against
their defense has done really well. Of course, even with the 13 points, 7 of those came on an interception return for a touchdown.
And talking about like the turnovers. Turnovers have been a very big count in this game. I think we've seen 3 to 4 turnovers, and that's really scary for air play. That's why we've seen a lot of good ground play on the game so far.
Yeah, you make a great point. That Cougar defense, I mean, they came up with 2 huge stops in the red zone, or else this game could be around, let's say, 27-0.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it would take a miracle. But they're still right in it, only down 13. So I think the Collegiate defense really stiffened when they needed to. You'll think back to the first quarter when Logan had 2 excellent throws that looked bound for touchdowns that the Collegiate secondary broke up. I think we saw big plays there by, I believe, Jalen Pierce and L.J. Booker. So a nice job. Really, the Collegiate pass defense has been pretty strong. In fact, I think the biggest pass play that Trinity was able to get was that very last play of the first half when they hit Trey Ferguson for about 18 yards, but then the clock ran out, so weren't able to build on that. So we'll see here as they get ready to kick off the second half. Will Trinity continue to try and ground and pound with the running game? Will they let it loose a little bit more with the passing game and test that Cougar secondary? Will the offsides penalties continue? Will be interesting to see that as well.
I also want to really shout out the student sections. We have 2 big full student sections from the Trinity Titans here, and I think it's great to see a lot of student support for the first big game, and I think it's just great having everyone out.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me though right now that for our 9th and 10th graders, they've never really seen a crowd like this because, of course, last year there were no home games and only 2 games, period, for the Titan football, and I believe Collegiate did not play football at all last year. So for many folks here, this is, at least as high school students, the first big
game
sport event they've seen. And I have to say, as a longtime coach and fan of high school sports, like, this is what it's all about, just seeing the student sections get involved and enjoying it. All right, so that opening kickoff was pretty short.
It was
taken by it was Zaire Rayner took the kick out to the 40, so pretty good field position for the Titans as we get the second half underway.
I think it was the first kind of short punt that we've seen all game. I think Zaire was able to really handle that well.
Yeah, here comes Mario Thompson, 12-yard gain. So we asked, would they go back to the ground game? And on the first play they do and pick up 12 yards and get right back into Collegiate territory.
Exactly what we were talking about with Mario Thompson, his good hands and his good speed. Again, Mario Thompson being able to get it well over in the kind of halfway through the yards.
Yeah, so Thompson ran there for about 3 or 4 yards, but there is a flag. It is going to be a hold against Trinity, so the ball will be marched back into Titan territory on that hold. And I think the hold may have even come out on the outside with one of the receivers blocking. So it's from the spot of the foul, 10 yards from there, so it's going to be 2nd and
First or second?
Yes, first down again. Repeat first down, and it's 1st and 16.
Yeah.
Good call, Silvio.
The coach getting a little angry at the student section there.
Yeah, Coach Mickens sometimes has to, remember that a lot of these students have not been to a football game yet, so they not know you need to be quiet when we have the ball and loud when the other team does. Well, Logan, taking Logan launch went deep there looking for Cam Fleming. He overthrew him a little bit, and it was good coverage as well by the Cougars. Jalen Pierce and Christian Williams were in the neighborhood, so maybe a good thing that Logan overthrew him a little bit because he was not open. 2nd and 16 coming up. And another penalty with an illegal man downfield, but Collegiate's going to decline that. Collegiate student section making a lot of noise on the 2nd and 16. They went with a little wide receiver screen to Cam Fleming, but he dropped it. And that's the 4th drop today for Titan receivers. Now, to be fair, I don't think he was going to go very far. It was pretty well covered. So maybe not terrible situation that he dropped that because it looked like he may have actually ended up losing yards if he had caught it. But it is 3rd and 16. And a chance for Collegiate to get the ball back potentially here. And Trinity's going to go ahead and keep it on the ground with Trey Grant. You know Grant's going to get you some positive yardage each and every time he touches the ball, but not the 16 yards that they needed. So Grant picked up.
Has had a 14-yard run in the first half.
He did, and of course that first touchdown. That one though goes for only 4 yards and brings up 4th and 12, and Trinity will have to punt it away with Trey Ferguson.
Right, yeah.
That's a great punt by Ferguson. Actually carries all the way into and through the end zone. So you're talking about that was a 52-yard punt.
We did see James Woodward and Zaire Rainier really trying to get there, but they weren't able to get there in time.
Yeah, James Woodward, man, that kid plays so hard.
He has some speed. I've seen he is running.
He does have some speed. He was really impressive in the Benedictine game. Not the biggest dude out there, but a lot of heart, and he worked hard to get down there, but that punt was just too far. I mean, so 52 yards, and then it went to the end zone. It rolled another 20 or 25 past that. I mean, that would have been about a 75-yard punt if the end zone hadn't gotten in the way.
Definitely had some power on that kick.
Yeah, when Jack Toscano comes back, I don't know. Ferguson may keep that punting job. We'll see. All right, Cougars ball. They fumble. And I do think quarterback Fallon was able to jump back on it.
I don't believe Hunter Brooks was able to get that ball in his.
Yeah, Fallon was quick to jump on it, which that would have been huge. But that can't be what the Cougars wanted coming out for their first offensive play, in the second half already down 13 points. They want to put together a great drive here. So just giving away 4 yards there is not what the coaching staff wanted to see. But still just second down. And Collegiate will try and get some positive yards on this one. And you go with a play action. Connect the pass to Jalen Pierce, and he is brought down by Hunter Brooks. Actually,
I think that was
Elijah Rayner on the tackle, yeah. Hunter was in the area as well. But, so yeah, 4-yard gain, maybe 5. If you're Trinity on 2nd and 14, you probably don't mind giving up that short pass play. Third and 9 here. On back to pass. John Brooks looking to apply some pressure. Brooks gets off of that block and pushes him out of bounds. And that's a sack. I mean, even though he didn't bring him to the ground, you don't have to. And Brooks pushed him out for a 4-yard loss. So give John Brooks another sack on the day. And, yeah, credit to the secondary for there was nothing for Fallon to throw to there. And having already thrown 3 interceptions, he wasn't going to put another one up for grabs. So
another really good pressure by, Ornan Rain, Zaire Rainier, Elijah Rayner. And, Brooks, I mean, they have been really beasts the first half. And now we're seeing the third quarter being able to really put pressure on quarterback.
Yeah, I think this was a big 3-and-out for the Titans. Since Trinity wasn't able to sustain a drive to come out in the second half, the last thing they wanted was to let Collegiate put one together. And to go 3-and-out is big. The punt here bounces at the 45 and goes out of bounds right about midfield.
You catch who punted that ball?
I believe the punter was, Jack Bradley for Collegiate. Decent punt, actually pretty good. You punt at 33 yards with no return. You'll take that if you're Collegiate. I think that what Coach Mickens and the staff are going to want to see on this possession is just making sure there's no penalties and no turnovers, because the previous possession was going nicely until a holding penalty put them behind the chains. And then they actually had another penalty that was declined, but on the the face mask, you're right, they actually had 3 because also the illegal man downfield. So this is a nice first play. Trey Grant, it's still going. Wow. Trey Grant fought through 3 tacklers there to pick up over 20 yards on the play.
And that's just Trey Grant's beast mode. I mean, he is a buff guy. He's able to find those openings in that defensive line.
I think that's pretty much sure that's the 3rd time we've called out Trey Grant for beast mode, and now he shows off a little bit of cutting ability as he bounced that one outside. Still a good gain, not as good as last time, but he picked up 3 there, which you'll certainly take that on first down.
Reed Coleman was really able to get in there for pick down Trey.
Yeah, good job by Coleman to make the tackle. It'll be 2nd and 7. Trey Grant, we may be watching his coming out party here today in terms of he's had some good minutes the first couple games, but he has really been the workhorse in this one, and it's just awesome to see a young sophomore. It seems like he's growing in confidence each and every time he touches the football today. Throw out to Trey Ferguson out in the flat. Trey close to it. It is enough for a first down inside the 20. Go ahead.
I think that's really good from Tegan Logan. He's been able to find some good short passes and long passes, and when he finds those openings, he's able to make connections. He's definitely able to secure those connections, unlike we've seen in the first quarter. He's getting them down. For sure, I feel like that's a big improvement. And maybe it's just mentally not
Yeah, got to be building his confidence. And to be fair to Logan, if it wasn't for 4 drop passes, his stats would look a little bit better as well. Mario Thompson runs that one. Thompson picked up 3 yards across the 15-yard line. Titans going hurry up here. Oh, Collegiate almost jumped off sides, but the defensive end caught himself there. I'm sure that the coaches talked to them, those linemen at halftime, not to fall for that hard count like they did the 5 times in the first half. Good discipline by the Cougar line, and the ball is snapped, thrown out to Thompson. And the Cougars rally to the ball. Thompson picked up about 4, but flag came in. And I think that's going to be against the Titans based on where that flag was thrown from.
Jack Darling from the Cougars was able to get that his hand on that ball from.
Yeah, Collegiate did a nice job defending that one. Didn't Thompson to run. And I see what this penalty is all about, but I believe it's going to go against Titans. It is another holding penalty, and it's the 4th or 5th holding penalty that Trinity's had. And like I said back at the beginning of this possession, the key for me this drive was not to have penalties.
Yeah.
So now instead of what would have been a 3rd and 2 or 3, you're looking at 2nd and about 15 or so. So a big difference in, every time you put that rookie quarterback behind the sticks, it's just not the position you want him to be in. Now, not sure who the hold was on there. But hopefully, from the Titans standpoint, it won't derail this drive, which started off with a phenomenal run by Trey Grant to get him into the red zone. Screen pass to Trey Grant. Grant with the catch. Turns it upfield, gets back inside the 20. So I think it was about a 6-yard gain, but a nice job by the Cougar defense. Several collegiate players were able to come in and make the tackle, and right in front of their large student section. So that got the Cougar fans excited.
Yeah.
And I actually wonder, with the collegiate students right there, if noise might be a factor, just from the snap count. Maybe able to see, or maybe just out of your picture, but the collegiate students jumping up and down, making a lot of noise, and they're very close, really
very, very close
right to where the line of scrimmage is. But the Titans do get the snap away, no flags. Tegan Logan rolling left, hits Trey Ferguson, and Ferguson is tackled a little bit short of the first down.
Really gonna have to give a lot of creds there to Logan. He was able to, get away from the defenders and find an opening. Difficult to do, especially with pretty big dudes.
Absolutely. Really nice poise there by Tegan Logan. While it's not a first down, it's going to give a manageable 4th and short. And Silvio, tell me what just happened.
Oh, that's an offsides.
That is an offsides against Collegiate for the 6th time, and this one is going to be enough for a first down.
It will be, and then that's 3 yards to goal.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, it was going to be a 4th and I think 2. So with the 5 yards, it takes it down to the 6-yard line, and 1st and goal now. Trey Grant, touchdown, Titans. Trey Grant with his 2nd touchdown of the game. Phenomenal job by the offensive line there, opening up that hole for Trey Grant. And
Trey Grant's been on fire this game. I don't know if he's been just doing this now, but the season may be his.
He really has.
The vision of the back line, his brute strength, just being able to force that. And, I mean, him running is just going to be really helping the Titans.
Yeah, great job by Grant there, showing off that vision. Great job by the offensive line, providing that hole. But also, Cougars got to be kicking themselves with the 4th down penalty.
Yeah.
That offside penalty giving the first down and goal to the Titans, and they immediately capitalize, scoring on that first down play. All right, extra point is no good. They did a pretty good job getting it down, and J.D. Stemhagen kicked that ball so high it went over the goalpost, and if those goalposts went a little higher in the sky, I thought it might have actually snuck inside of it, but kind of a guessing game for the official, but they do determine that it was just a bit outside of the posts, and that keeps the score at 19-0 with 4:22 to go in the 3rd quarter. So we talked about at the beginning of that possession that penalties were going to be a key. The Titans overcame their one holding penalty, and the Cougars with a back-breaking offside penalty, as you said, the 6th time.
I definitely think that the JD that's the 2nd field goal opportunity he's missed. Must be a little upset with himself there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the first one for sure, nothing he could have done about. I mean, an NFL kicker wasn't going to have a chance on that one because the snap. That one, the snap was pretty good, and the hold, they did a nice job getting it on the tee for him.
Has been doing good on these kicks, though.
Yeah, he just pushed it a little wide.
But his offside kicks have been really good.
Yeah, no, J.D. Stemhagen, just a great story for folks who may just be joining us, just joined the football team this week. So J.D., a big-time baseball player who was not playing a fall sport. When normal kicker and, of course, quarterback Jack Toscano went down, J.D. stepped up for his schoolmates and teammates and became a teammate on this football team. And you see him there kick it off nicely, a hard one to handle, and by Trey Grant.
By Trey Grant.
Not sure if Williams was lacking a mouthpiece or not totally sure what was going on there. All right, Cougars are going to run, and they're going to run nowhere. Great tackle by Mario Thompson.
Flag on the play.
for a loss. Yeah, also a flag. So we'll see what that is. But that was a loss of 4 yards as Mario Thompson just flew into the backfield.
And then Williams is going back out and trade.
Yeah, Williams coming right back. Seemed to be some sort of uniform equipment issue. But, yeah, it was a hold on the Cougars there. And interesting decision for Coach Mickens. Do you accept this and make it 2nd and 20 or decline it and then have it be 3rd and 14? And, yeah, the Titans are going to go ahead and accept the penalty.
A lot of good on our defensive line, and we have been able to keep them from getting passes in, and we haven't seen many big range runs by the Cougars. So I feel like if he can accept this, hold them back another 10 yards to goal, I mean, that's a good yardage.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the right decision there to push them back even further, basically dare them to gain those 10 yards back. And, you know, frankly, the Cougars have had some trouble moving the ball of late. So now it's 2nd and long, about 23 from their own 10 or 11 yard line. They do look for the deep pass, really well covered. A late flag comes is kind of shocking because there was phenomenal coverage by Deuce Edwards and Zaire Rayner. Didn't see a whole lot of contact there, but I do think we're going to get a pass interference. Maybe they deem that the DBs were blocking the receiver path to the ball. Yeah, they're saying Edwards interfered there, so that's going to be a 15-yard penalty.
It seems like Edwards 21 who scored on that blocking.
Yeah, I mean, he was right there stride for stride with the receiver. Fallon threw into double coverage, but, I mean, the Cougars, you know, they're at a point where they need to make something happen, so definitely smart play to try and get a big gain, and with the 15-yard penalty, they're now in a much more manageable situation of 2nd down and 9. Pass is complete, but not for too much yardage there because it was Elijah Rayner making the tackle, and the Cougars only able to pick up 2 yards there.
Right down. Now we're talking about, like, was the, accepting that 10-yard penalty a good decision by Coach? I mean, now it's 3, could be 4. So.
Right, it would be 4th down. Having said that, though, I guess the, 15 yards that they got on that penalty, presumably they still would have thrown it deep on the 3rd down, and that would have put them right by the marker. So either way, I think it comes out fine. The key here for the Titans is just getting off the field on this play on 3rd and 7. And if they can do that, I think they're going to feel pretty good about it. And Fallon's throw was incomplete.
Deuce Edwards almost saying he gets hands on that interception.
Yeah, Deuce Edwards did a nice job. We got another holding penalty against Collegiate here. So it's that same situation, Silvio, where Titans could decline the penalty and bring up 4th and 7, or they could accept and make it 3rd and about 17, but they are going to go ahead and decline it, force it to 4th down. I think in that situation, you don't want to give the Cougars any additional life. And so it is going to be a punt.
Trey Ferguson out there in the back there, really hoping he has some good speed, good hands, and he's also one of those players that can get through that defensive line. So just Trey, and I think Trey Ferguson can also be able to get
exactly and get that ball back to Troy Grant and the offense. It's a high punt, not too long, takes a little bit of the collegiate bounce, and again Ferguson not able to field it. He looks frustrated because I know he wants to get his hands on that football. He's only been able to return 1 kick, and he's had 3 or 4 that bounced, but still going to be good field position for Trinity. They're going to get the ball at the 43-yard line. I think with a 19-0 lead, you'll take that.
Hunter Bach almost being able to get his hands around that Hunter. I mean, that would have been very big for the Titans defense.
Yeah, for sure. Erlenbach, one of the really fun players to watch on this team, just plays so hard on each and every play. And one of the senior leaders on a team like we mentioned, there's only a handful of seniors even on this team. Trey Grant again picks up it looks like 4 yards there, and with Trey Grant, every single time he's touched the ball has resulted in positive yardage. Gotta love those running backs that you can count on always to pick up a few yards for you, always going forward, never going backwards. Second and 6. Hands off to Grant again. And that's sort of an example of what I was talking about, because Grant had virtually no running room there and was still able to pick up. Granted, it was just a yard, but that looked like a play that could have easily gone for a 2 or 3 yard loss, and Grant just goes into the defender, falls forward, and now third and very manageable 5 yards, as opposed to if he had been brought down in the backfield, he would have been looking at third and about 10. So nice job by Grant. Important third down here. I'm sure the Cougars are wanting to make sure they don't jump off sides, and they don't. But connection is made to Brennan Ridley, his first catch of the game. Another young player, just a sophomore. Brennan Ridley with big gain there. On the 3rd and 5, he picked up about 25 yards there, and goes all the way to the Collegiate 27. Perfect pass by Logan, and a great job by Brennan Ridley hanging on. And now it comes out to Trey Ferguson as the Titans go quickly between plays. And Ferguson picks up about 3 yards on the play. So it's 2nd and 7 here. We come into 1 minute left in the third quarter. Clock stopped because Ferguson went out of bounds. Will they put it on the ground? Yes, they do run it with Hunter Brooks. And Brooks runs for a first down into the red zone. And right now, sort of this possession feels like the Titans kind of have it all clicking. They're able to get some positive running plays, a couple nice passing plays. I'm curious, they've been going hurry up with this lead. Will they want to start running some clock or continue to just keep that momentum and build on the tired Collegiate defense, or in this case, Silvio, what just happened?
Put offsides. That's the 7th this game. I mean, I think it might have just been he fell. I think he did just him reacting to the thing. I think he just fell.
Yeah, well, like we were saying, I thought that maybe the Cougar defense was looking a little fatigued, and that's why, even though the clock is your friend, you still want to keep the tempo up. And that fatigue played out with, I agree, I think the defensive player just kind of fell forward feeling tired, and that's 5 additional yards to make it 2nd and short. And on that 2nd down play, it's going to be touchdown, Titans. Cam Fleming with the touchdown from about 10 yards out. Huge touchdown there late in the third quarter to make this now a 4-score game.
Checking out the hustle. They really bring in the hustle, the clock, tempo, keeping the momentum up. And I think that keeping the momentum up was a really big factor of the getting that touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Really great drive there by the Titans. Running the ball, passing the ball, blocking. It was all clicking on that drive. And Collegiate defense looking a little bit fatigued out there. All right, J.D. Stemhagen.
He can pull it off.
Snaps a little low, but they're able to get it down. And this one is wide right. No doubt about that one. It was close. And I think JD is shown he has a strong leg. I think with a little more practice, he's going to be a great kicker for this team. And once again, Tegan Logan had to field a snap that was a little bit low. Logan did a good job getting it onto the tee, but I think the timing was just a little off there. So you saw it pushed a little bit wide right. But 25-0 at this point, things are looking great for the Titans. And while you never want to miss an extra point, a little bit of nitpicking because overall this has been a comprehensive performance. Defense so far with a shutout. Offense able to run, able to throw. So it's been a really great job in all phases for the Titans.
JD hasn't been doing so well on the point punts, but he has been doing really good, getting good yardage from the outside kicks. We've seen speed, power of JD, and I think that's great for her.
Yeah, I mean,
coming here.
his last kickoff was kind of like a low knuckler that was really difficult to field. This one is fielded at about the 10-yard line by the Cougars. It's number 7, Ben Street, and pretty good return for Street. He takes it out across the 20 to the 22. Henry Caudle looked to be part of that tackle. And James Woodward again. Special teams.
Specialist.
Yeah.
Has the speed, and he's just out there. He's always near the ball, especially pickoffs or just we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Silvio, I think you and I have talked about before, both Washington football team fans, and I know for Washington fans out there, I mean, there's a player named Troy Apke who was really only made the roster because he's so good in special teams. Kind of reminds me of Woodward. Not that he is only good at special teams, because he played a lot of cornerback as well, really effectively, but he just gives you that additional. Now in the special teams, he's going to be in on every play. So a lot of credit to Woodward for that. I'm going to call him the Troy Apke of Trinity for right now. Hopefully Apke and the Washington football team will play well tomorrow in their season opener against the Chargers. All right, well, back to this matter at hand. The fourth quarter is coming. Third quarter just ended. It's going to be 2nd down and 7 for Collegiate when the fourth quarter begins, and a 25-0 lead for the Titans. And I know right now that Coach Mickens and the defensive coaching staff with Coach Taylor and Coach Rayner are going to really want to preserve this shutout.
Yep.
That's would be a huge feat to keep that goose egg in the guest column on the scoreboard. And I think that's the big motivation now as you head into the fourth quarter, is keeping that shutout going.
I do think this is the first time we've seen Cougars from a quarter or a half being able to get the ball possession. We'll see how that turns out for the Cougars. We haven't really seen them being able to run the ball from a punt, so maybe they do have a good specialist like we have Trey. I definitely do want to see who they have back there and see if they can make any yardage or plays.
So, fourth quarter coming up. While we have just a second before the fourth quarter, I want to also pass along for Titan fans out there some scores from other sports. Yesterday, volleyball got a win over Carmel School. Field hockey got a win over Deep Run, which was our TESPN broadcast.
Yeah, you did that, Mr. Hamlin, correct?
Yeah, we did that game. First game on the turf. Field hockey looked great. All right, fourth quarter started. Bad snap. Fallon was able to get on the snap, but Robbie Dunn was right there to make his presence known. So Fallon fell on it, and then Dunn fell on Fallon. And that's going to make it 3rd and long. 3rd and about 15. And it's really kind of desperation time here for the Cougars. If they want to have any chance of getting back in this game, I think they've got to really to score on this possession. And with 3rd and 15 from their own 17, it's not where they want to be, but we'll see if they look to go deep again. They were able to draw that pass interference on the last possession when they went deep. But you can't go deep when you don't have time, and it's picked off. It's intercepted by Zaire Rayner. Is he going to have a pick six? Is he also going to have a pick six like Big Bro? He does indeed. Pick six. Zaire Rayner to the house. That is both Rayner brothers now have interception returns for touchdowns. But we have got to mention on that play that Cornell Allen put a hit on Fallon just as he was throwing. That is a huge factor in that play. So shout out to Cornell Allen. Shout out to Zaire Rayner. Class 4 representing on that one. If you know, you know. And that makes it 31-0 for the Titans. Henry Caudle took this extra point, and it is blocked. So I guess if there's not much negative in this game, but if there is one thing, it's Titans have 5 touchdowns, but only 1 extra point.
Yeah. But it is 31-0.
Yeah.
It does seem to be a shutout right now with 11 minutes in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, exactly. 2 defensive touchdowns is huge. we knew coming into this game that it was going to be a defensive slugfest, and the team that made the fewest mistakes was going to be the team that had the advantage. And you got to say
And
now
we've seen
with
7 from the Cougars.
Right,
offense.
with penalties and turnovers, it's been the Cougars who've made more mistakes. Titans have had a couple turnovers as well and a few penalties, but overall played a pretty clean game. And at this early stage in the season, you got to love that, especially coming off a loss last week against a good Bishop McNamara team.
Yeah.
And also with your starting quarterback out, there was just a lot of question marks coming into this week. And Collegiate last week shut out Goochland, who's always
21-0, yeah.
always good. See several St. Christopher's players here checking out the action. Of course, the Saints will battle both these teams later in the year. And that kickoff is kind of up for grabs. Loose ball. Cougars do ultimately fall on it. A nice job there. I think it was Jax Liu who recovered that for Collegiate, which was a great job by him, because that ball looked like it could be anybody's ball. So nice job by Liu.
It is still a little difficult to see the numbers. Our perspective, this third gold and yellow, gold and a white jersey, hard to read.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so 31-0, and Cougar ball from their own 30. They look for the sweep. A good run, but a big hit applied there
by Zaire.
Yeah, Zaire Rayner. So the previous play, he had a pick six. He had a big tackle there on Ben Street. So that was number 7, Street, running it for the Cougars. He's just a freshman. And Zaire Rayner, a sophomore, number 7 on the Titans, put a big hit on him. Zaire and Elijah Rayner both reminded me of their dad with their play today.
Yeah.
Making big plays in terms of turnovers as well as big hits. And Fallon runs there for a gain of about 3 or 4, but there is a flag. So, yeah, Silvio, I actually happened to be at the University of Virginia when Mr. Rayner, Wally Rayner, played there. And those were some of the better Cavalier teams in the late 90s. Made several runs deep into the ACC, went to bowl games every year, and Mr. Rayner was a huge part of that. And as we mentioned earlier, went on to play in the NFL for several years. And I know how proud he must be watching his 2 sons having massive performances today. For the Cavalier fans out there, I wonder if they see any Rayners in orange and blue in the years to come. We can hope so. All right, so that was a hold on the Cougars, which is going to force them back into a 2nd and long situation. 2nd and about 17.
Yeah.
Keep it on the ground with Williams, Donovan Williams. Good run by Williams. He picked up about 12. That's one thing where probably the most success Collegiate's had today is with Donovan Williams. He's run the ball well, but they have had to kind of get away from that when you're behind and sort of chasing the game. They felt like they need to throw the ball and pick up those bigger chunks. And, of course, when you run the ball, it keeps the clock moving. So they do go back to the run there, though, and Williams picked up 12.
Like captain to captain, connection from those plays.
Good pressure on Fallon. Great coverage again. And I got to say, Fallon did a really nice job keeping that alive and put a pretty catchable ball out to L.J. Booker, but it was a little behind Booker, and he couldn't quite bring it in. So it's going to make it 4th down.
Multiple Titans there around the area for a turnover.
Yeah, good coverage by Hunter Brooks and Elijah Rayner. They were definitely in the area. And you have to say, with some of the big hits that they've already applied, maybe hearing the footsteps a little bit for the receiver there. I thought Fallon did a good job eluding the rush, though. And the Cougars line did a pretty good job giving him some time. And and not committing a holding penalty. But ultimately, Collegiate is going to have to punt it away, and it's not a good snap. And, oh, wow, Connor Erlenbacher tackles the punter who fumbles, and we have yet another defensive score. It's Mario Thompson, touchdown, Titans.
That was Connor that made the
it was,
the big hit on the punter.
Right, so the snap took the punter a little off course, and then Connor Erlenbach with a big hit that drew a fumble, and then Mario Thompson was right there for the scoop and score for 6 more points for the defense. So now, on the day, that's the 3rd touchdown by the Titan defense to go along with 3 touchdowns by the Titan offense. And I think right now that's the contest I'm interested to see. Who's going to score more touchdowns today, the offense or the defense?
I think we really have to give credit, though, to Connor. I mean, big hit by the punter, and that's just an easy run for Mario Thompson to be able to get that.
Exactly, and as Henry Cardle comes back out to attempt another extra point, you make a great point, Silvio, because with a 31-0 lead, it's a punt. You know, maybe some people would kind of take their foot off the gas, but Connor Erlenbach doesn't have that in him. He just, as the extra point is no good. But yeah, you make a great point. Erlenbach never stops playing 100%. He's got an incredible motor, and instead of just saying, we got a big lead, maybe I'll go 70%. Nope, 100% all the time by Bach. And same with Thompson. Thompson was right there to capitalize on the fumble. But the extra point was no good. All right, we got 9:12 to go. Now 37-0. Silvio, I think that I know this score might not reflect it, but I think the Cougars are going to have a good season. They've got.
Oh yeah, I mean they have. I mean, from looking at this game, their defense is on point. I mean, besides the the offsides they've made, they have had some really good coverage.
Ben Street does a nice job on that kickoff return. You had mentioned a little bit ago if they had a specialist, and we saw there Ben Street catch that ball inside the 10. Yeah, the freshman showed tremendous speed, bringing it all the way out to the 42. But back to the big picture. Okay, so obviously a tough day for the Cougars. Having said that, though, Fallon is a really good quarterback. He's very poised. He's had some excellent throws. Donovan Williams is a really good running back. Their defense, I mean, yeah, okay, you see the 37 and think it's been a tough day, but 3 of those touchdowns were scored by Trinity's defense, and even the times the Trinity offense has scored, for the most part, was due to great field position. So I think the Cougar defense is strong. They tackle well. They have good line play and some good weapons. So I still think they're going to have a really good season. But they just came up against a Trinity team today that is super inspired. In the first game on the new turf. Also, okay, we got a little extracurriculars going on after this play. I think I saw a Collegiate player throw a kind of a slap after the play, and flags flew everywhere.
I mean, on the run in, Wyatt King did a great job getting around the Titans' great defense. Have to give credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely. So the officials are discussing what's going to happen here. It was a pretty good run for the Cougars of about 8 yards.
Definitely a lot of flags. I believe you said it was maybe a slap.
Yeah. So we have an unsportsmanlike and an ejection on Collegiate. And that's after the play, so it's also a loss of down, as opposed to a live ball penalty, which of course you would repeat the down. So it's going to end up being second and I think about 17 once this all gets sorted out. Also, Collegiate is going to have to replace the ejected player.
Here's.
I think it was Walker Clemens, Steve. Going to be tossed out for that late post whistle slap at I think the head of Hunter Brooks. All right, Cougars coaching staff bringing their guys over. Just try and regroup a little bit here.
On 8:30 on the clock, fourth quarter.
Yeah, they even pushed it back a little further than I even thought. It's going to be all the way back to the 31. So that's going to make it 2nd and 21 for the Cougs.
Were you able to catch who was ejected from the play?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 50.
All right.
Walker Clemens there. All right, and the officials whistle play back in. Wind that clock. And Collegiate runs the ball pretty effectively there. That's a handoff to Wyatt King. Good run there by King. He picked up 10 yards, and it's going to make it 3rd and 11.
Yeah.
Titans have also brought in some guys who have not seen a ton of snaps yet, including Alex Bell.
I think James Woodward not on the specialist team.
And Sam Gorey. Another run by Wyatt King on 3rd and long. And Connor Erlenbach was in there. Jay Williams was in there. And Elijah Rayner was a little slow to get up, but he's good. Yeah, I think he's just maybe a little bit exhausted. He's been everywhere.
That's had a lot of good plays. Got the pick 6, and he's out there.
Absolutely. So it's going to be 4th and 10, and Collegiate is going to punt. As we see Alex Bell run off the field, younger brother of our producer Jeffrey Bell. ESPN production, got to give those guys a shout out.
Oh, for sure.
We have students putting all this on, doing a great job. And Trey Ferguson brought that punt out, but a really nice tackle there by, it looked like, I think Hudson Neese, I believe number 9, with the shoestring tackle. And Trey Ferguson's a hard guy to bring down in space, so really nice job there by Neese. And Collegiate continues to play really hard. No quit in the Cougars. With 6:41 to go. All right, Titan ball from their 26-yard line. Trey Grant with the carry. Sorry, I have the yard line wrong there. We took over from the 22. Grant picked up about 4. He's a little slow to get up. Nodding his head, I think, saying I'm okay, but trainer Mark Hall is out there. Trey Grant's had such a great game.
Really has.
Yeah, I think Grant's just cramping up. It's a beautiful day, but it's a little warm getting to this 4th quarter. Trey's played a lot of snaps.
2 touchdowns, I believe, this game.
2 touchdowns. He's also played some defensive snaps as well.
Yep.
So just cramping up, which you tend to see in these September early season games.
Athletes still trying to get the flow, making their bodies, playing for this long, especially Trey, with all the plays he's done, playing for this long is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. We all know how those leg cramps can be excruciating. So I think he's going to be fine, but just they're being cautious, making sure to take their time to get him up. And he's in the good hands of athletic trainer Mark Hall. So while Grant's being attended to, let's talk about what we have coming up here on TESPN, because we have 3 broadcasts next week.
Yeah.
Tuesday, boys soccer against the same Collegiate Cougars, a really strong opponent that I know is going to provide a very entertaining match for our fans. And then Thursday, soccer again as the Titans host Fork Union. And then next Friday, football with the Bulldogs from Norfolk Academy coming in. And so that's a Friday game. So 3 more broadcasts next week on ESPN. The debut of soccer. First time we'll be broadcasting that.
So we have another game on the 16th for volleyball versus Collegiate.
Yeah, that one I think actually changed to soccer because that game got moved. So we'll be back in the gym for volleyball again a little later in September. But that volleyball game with Collegiate, I believe, was postponed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grant's fine. Grant's off the field just with the cramps, making sure they're getting him hydrated. And this handoff is to, I believe, TJ DiLoretto's first carry of the game. And he does a nice job. DiLoretto kept his feet churning, up positive yards there, about 4 yards from TJ. Great to see DiLoretto out there. I know he was a really good JV player 2 years ago as a 9th grader. And then, of course, last year there was no JV season and only just the 2 varsity games against St. Christopher's and Benedictine due to COVID. So that I believe that's DiLoretto's first varsity carry, and it was a good one. He really fought hard through several tackles to pick up positive yards there. Way to go, TJ. Timeout with 5:32 to go. Silvio, I don't know if you know, obviously with Tegan Logan being the backup to Toscano, is there a third quarterback? I mean, if they wanted to give Logan a break here these last few minutes, not sure who that would be.
I believe on the JV team, I think Cameron Walker is secondary quarterback on the JV team. He might be able to play some minutes, but I do believe Tegan is one of the only kind of quarterbacks we have secondary wise for varsity.
Yeah, I mean, with a 37-point lead, I think normally this is a time when you would probably want to get a younger quarterback some snaps, but already down to the backup with Toscano out. But I tell you what a backup. I mean,
yeah, and he's made some great plays.
He's really made great plays with his feet, had several great throws, and if it wasn't for a few drops, his stats would be even more impressive. But it is still taking Logan out there.
And I do believe on quarterbacks that we will have Jack Toscano in next game. That he was forced to sit out this game.
We'll check that after this play. I have an update about Toscano. Tegan Logan ran there for about a yard. It was 3rd and 3, so he did come up a little bit short, and it's going to bring up 4th down. And yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about with Logan running out there. I mean, it's the last thing you want to see is him take a lick. So as far as the update on Toscano, I mean, I think it's week to week. He had that finger surgery on Tuesday. For those that don't know, he dislocated his finger in the first quarter at Bishop McNamara. Bone was through the skin, so pretty grisly injury, but he's in good spirits. He's fine. He's here at the game today. Not able to play yet, but I think he's still questionable for next week. I know the coaches are hoping he'll be able to play, but I think you just have to see how that finger recovers. Certainly, I think the Titans feel in good hands if it is Logan.
Yeah.
But it would also be great to get Jack, of course, back out there as a senior captain and an unbelievable quarterback. And I've missed Jack a little bit in the kicking game as well, as we've only been able to convert 1 out of 6 extra points, although it's certainly not all on the kickers either, as there's just been some operational issues on some of those kicks. Delay a game there on the Titans, so it'll now be 4th and 7 instead of 4th and 2. But just trying to bleed as much of that clock as possible. And Trey Ferguson back again. The punt, he's been excellent punting today. Had some really good ones. And I don't think this was a design fake, but the rush was in on him pretty quickly, so Ferguson does take off, and it's close to first down yardage. I got it. Really close there. No, I guess he didn't get it. The officials say he came up just short. He's on that near sideline, so it's a little hard to see where he went out of bounds. It's near first down yardage, but
I mean, but good rush against Trey. But you have to give credit to Trey there. He's able to almost about to kick it, to able to get it in his hands and start running.
Yeah. So looks like Ferguson came up a yard short. And yeah, like I said, I mean, certainly with a 37-point lead, we're not calling for a fake punt there. It just was a situation where the snap took him a little bit off to his right, and the rush was right in his face. So Trey, tried to trust his speed to get the first down, but came up just a little bit short there. It's a great field position for the Cougars, and they've got Jack Halligan at quarterback, and he makes an excellent throw out there to Scotty Ruth. So 6-yard gain. So Callahan, the 10th grade backup quarterback, is getting some game action here, and he looked really good on that one. That was a nice throw to Ruth. Timeout called here by Trinity. They were trying to make wholesale substitutions, and they just couldn't get them off the field in time. So Titans burn a timeout. They had about 14 guys on the field there. Cougars went hurry up, and they just weren't able to get those subs in. So 3:14 to go. And as we enter this last couple minutes of the game, Silvio, talk to the fans out there about what are just some of the keys that you've seen to this Titan victory.
I mean, definitely I've seen the turnovers in early game, as well as both Rayner brothers being able to get pick six. And I really want to give a great shout out. I think almost MVP to Trey Grant was he went beast mode going through that defensive line. He was able to get 2 touchdowns himself. I think that his overall just speed and vision, as the coaches were saying, and the back line really held to the victory. And you got to give credit to Tegan Logan as well. He's made some great passes.
Absolutely. So it's a run there by Jack Callahan. Sorry, Jack Callahan. Apologize to Jack. I kind of butchered his name there, but it was a good run and a first down by the 10th grade signal caller. And it's like another timeout called here. Defensive coordinator, Coach Jason Taylor, out there, even at 37-0 in the final 3 minutes, he is still out there coaching.
Making sure the Titans are on their A game, Even if you are in this big lead here, you never want to, slack off, It's still a game. You got to play the game.
Absolutely, and I know Coach Taylor takes a ton of pride in that defense, and I'm sure a shutout against this strong Cougar team and strong program would be a huge thing that clearly he would like to have happen. So Coach Taylor's out there still just coaching like it's 37-36, not 37-0. All right, so coming out of the timeout, it's a first down for Collegiate. First and 10 from the 21-yard line. Jack Callahan back to pass. Oh, that's a scramble by Callahan. Good block. Really nice block there by Charlie Cunningham for the Cougars to allow Callahan to get some more yardage there. And it was Alex Bell pressuring in the backfield. Almost had a sack. And then flags came down late. I think that penalty is going to, I believe, be against Collegiate. It's out in the area where I think we may be looking at a holding penalty here.
Yeah.
So that's going to back Collegiate way up. So that's a 15-yarder there for a blindside block. And so it takes it all the way back to the 41, which means it's going to be 1st and 30. So you don't see 1st and 30 a lot.
You do not. I think that not sure who they have out there as their quarterback. Is it still the?
It's the sophomore Callahan. Yeah. It's good in the short passing game. He connects another one there to Hudson Neese, and a good game for Neese. And got to give a lot of credit also to the collegiate student section. It doesn't look like any of them have left. They're still packed
still
in there.
Full, yeah. I mean, full and some. They still have students not being able to get on those bleachers.
Yep.
They are out here. They are staying.
Yeah, you gotta respect that school spirit. As we get under 2 minutes left in the fourth. Callahan looks deep, and it is almost picked off. AK Key dropped that one, almost had a pick right there inside the 10-yard line. Good coverage, though, by the secondary.
Yeah. I mean, Key got up there high. I mean, that jump was big. I just don't think he was able to get his hands on that.
Yeah, Key's a really good athlete. Seen him on the basketball court, real natural athlete, and has a lot of potential on the football field as well. Almost brought that one in. Was pretty high, but yeah, if he wasn't such a good athlete, he wouldn't have got his hands on it, but he was able to jump up, do that. And James Woodward is also into the game now at cornerback. A lot of pressure put on by that defensive line, and mostly it's the backups. And finally, it is Elijah Rayner with a big tackle. And Rayner brought down Callahan right there at the 30, right around the line of scrimmage. So not sure if that technically is a sack, but great quarterback pressure, and good to see everybody hop up and move on as we are down into the last 30 seconds. I'm not sure if Collegiate will even need to snap the ball again.
You really hear the Titans student section right now. They're very high at the game's almost over. Maybe a blowout with around over 5 seconds left.
And they are going to get one more snap off right before the final whistle. It is a completed pass to Neese, and it is Elijah Rayner with yet another tackle. I think that's a fitting way to end this game with an Elijah Rayner tackle, because he was such a beast on the defensive end. The huge pick six in the first half, several great tackles throughout the game, and that's it. 37-0 in favor of Trinity Episcopal. Titans moved to 2-1 on the season. Another home game next week. This is going to be on Friday, so please join us for that as Norfolk Academy and the Bulldogs come up to face the Titans Friday. 4 o'clock will be our next football broadcast, and as I mentioned, a couple soccer games on Tuesday and Thursday as well. Hey, thanks everybody who tuned into TESPN. We really appreciate it. It's a new thing for all of us, so we're just really excited for the support and hope that we will be able to provide a service for Titan fans that aren't able to get to the games, and hope we did you right today. We'll keep working to get better on our end, and Titan football team did everything right today.
Oh, yeah.
Pitched that shutout that Coach Taylor, the defensive coordinator, was looking for, and great job by the offense as well. So just all-around performance, and the Titans go to 2-1. Silvio, any last thoughts before we say goodbye?
No, I don't think so. I think the Titans' defense and offense will play great. I mean, touchdowns from both sides. I think it was a great blowout game, and I think we did have some amazing. The Rayner brothers, Trey Grant, as like some definitely team match MVPs game.
Yeah, absolutely. Great call, Silvio, and thanks again. We will hopefully be with you again shortly next Friday, and 37-0 is the final. Have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you all for watching.